YouTube, and I just wanted to make this quick video because I just want to bring up this fact that so many people have so many things to say about the cops that it completely causes a whole social media delusion that all cops are bad. And that's just not the case. Half the time they have their body cams on, the public still want to just ignore the fact that the cops were in the right just because they're cops, and this is just a perfect example. Watch this. So you guys just watch this.
According to the police report, as the officer leaves his vehicle to commence the chase on foot, he notices the driver is armed with a handgun. We begin hearing the officer imply that the suspect is going to be shot if he doesn't comply.
So basically, this guy's being chased by the cops, and long story short, he has a gun, and he decides, hey, I'm gonna go grab my gun, even though the cops told me not to, while I'm being chased for doing something criminally wrong. Watch this.
Get on the ground!
By the way, I'm sick of criminals that just do this kind of stuff because they're actual bumbling idiots that are no good to society. They only bring negativity. There's nothing good about them. They gotta get off of everyone's to screw off from everybody.
Tom, you're gonna get shot! Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
While the suspect is running away, his gun slips out of his hand. The officer continues his demand for the suspect to get on the ground. Unfortunately, the suspect ignores the officer's request and reaches for the gun he just dropped.
And then afterwards, neighbors come out, and they don't know anything. They don't know any of the context, yet they decide that the cops were in the wrong for this, when in fact it was the criminal's fault for being an idiot. He recently got shot 4 times. Not to be rude, it's just kind of his fault. I know people do stupid things in the heat of the moment, but people who do stupid things end up with stupid consequences.
Soon after, citizens residing in their houses in the neighborhood start yelling at the police officer for his actions.
10th and center, he just reached for a 32. Are you okay? Run. Come to.
Literally, and then the public will gang up because they know it's the cops, and so they just like completely gang up like a bunch of bully idiots.
Here. Between 800. Run. Hands out above your head. Do not reach for the gun. With this.
What a bunch of actual idiots. Why don't you just watch the body cam footage before making your opinion after the cop shoots somebody? Like, you have no context and you have the balls to think you know what's right to call cops. You mother effer.
Somebody got killed. I don't know if the cops did it, but it was 4 shots, and then all the cops were out here, so I'm thinking the police were taking or something. I don't know.
Stereotypical public reaction towards cops and violence, and I'm just not surprised that it's the public like this that literally automatically assume the cops are bad. Sick of this.
Onlookers speak their opinions and observations of the scene. The officers attempt to perform CPR on the suspect, reported to St. Mary's Ascension Hospital, where he was pronounced deceased.
Neighbors who say they heard 4 gunshots. They say that happened just after 1 p.m.
I was in the house and I heard 4 gunshots. I ran to the window and I saw my other 2 neighbors on their route down that way. And then I came out to the police scene. I could hear them. They must have already been en route coming.
It is very common for eyewitnesses to misrepresent the facts of a case. The Innocence Project, an organization focused around releasing wrongfully convicted individuals from prison, found that eyewitness accounts were the #1 reason for why an innocent person is sentenced.
I heard some noise out the window. I heard somebody shouting saying, "Help, help." And when I looked out the window, the police was chasing the individual. He told him, "Help." And he didn't help, and he shot him 3 times in the back.
Did this surprise you?
Yes, he did. He shot him.
Was the person armed?
No, he wasn't.
Heard the police basically like say stop 3 times, and then he heard the police shoot. He didn't see Day with no gun. It was no gun out there. That's it basically. Basically, Day didn't have no gun, from what he's seen.
And that is literally why I disagree with the fact that all cops are bastards. I don't understand that whole movement. This whole movement was happening in my town. Our cops are not as corrupt as everyone thinks they are. And a lot of the times, the criminals try to frame it as if the cops are, only because they got caught. Literally, to anyone on social media that thinks ACAB, you guys just suck. I don't have anything wrong with that movement particularly, but for the 80% of people that care but have had no prior experience to the law, how are you gonna judge when you have had 0 experience with the law? By the way, I would understand if you've had a bad run-in with the law and that's why you have that opinion, or if you did have to deal with a corrupt cop, but This stuff is so not like how it used to be because we have body cam footage. So I don't understand why people make judgments right away. It's like literally they are like dogs that just bark at any situation they find unjust. It's like, why can't you just be civil about it and let the whole case speak for itself? I'm just getting extremely sick and tired of this ACAP movement that's happening around my town specifically. You got a lot of middle class people going to these little events that actually, like, are only there because they want to feel special about their life, and they trick themselves into thinking that this movement for them is special. I'm not saying that it's not special, but many people, I feel like, believe in this stuff just because they're telling themselves that it's true, that all cops are corrupt and whatnot, and I just really disagree with that fact, because the cops that I've had to deal with, I've randomly had a few different experiences with them, and never once did I ever think they're corrupt or that they were taking any of my rights or anything. I've seen body cam footage of people thinking their rights were taken when in fact they were just loopy because of the fact they were caught. Quit playing victim when you're caught, because you should understand the consequences of your actions, and if you get caught, just accept the fact you got caught and stop trying to bend and twist the world into the way the world wants to twist itself. Specifically, younger generation folks really have an issue with this stuff where they think everything they're doing is special when they should just be focusing on other things in their life, because their mental health, of course, is deteriorating. And if you're not mentally sound, why are you believing in all this stuff? Like, work on yourself, please. Like, please. I gotta work on myself. At the end of the day, from what I've learned from the George Floyd protests, is the fact that cops can be very, very civil around my town, and if anything, it is the public we should be scared of for self-destructing themselves into thinking something that isn't there. Like, an incident happened like, what, 10, 15 years ago, and something like that hasn't been happened since, where a kid with an airsoft gun was shot by a cop. Honestly, it was very unfair. I remember this coverage as a kid. I swear, because of that little seed that got planted, that is the reason everyone here is so unruly towards cops. It's actually so disrespectful, and they actually try to save lives. I see them literally rushing when they have to try to get through emergency situations like the fires and whatnot. I don't understand it. They don't get enough love in my town. They don't. Protests that I witnessed on a nightly basis included people yelling at cops for no reason, even though they don't personally know this person or how they live or whatnot. Remember the destruction, shattered windows of businesses that happens on the streets, that the cops never even, like, they didn't deserve this. They didn't deserve, and I don't understand why the people in my town have to just hop on the bandwagon. Oh, and another good thing, I actually care about the fentanyl crisis, and they have been cracking down on all the drugs in my town. WWE title for that one.